everybody, and welcome to the MTG Paper Legacy Discord's weekly fight night. I am Pres BOTW, joined here by my co-commentator Mick Diff. How's it going today?
It's going all right. I'm ready for some Legacy, and I was warming up with Kaiser for a few hours before this while he was laying into me. I don't know if I want to call it warming up as letting him goldfish. We got a great matchup here, actually.
Actually, all three matches today are going to be really good.
Yes. Kicking us off tonight, though, we got Reanimator and Foundry Ninjas. Which eternally surprises actually over on the Ninjas Discord. He's one of the few ranked confirmed 5-0s with Ninjas over there. So we get two very skilled pilots with their decks.
Which is good. Especially because that both of these decks have not so much Ninjas, but Reanimator has a really high fail point, I guess I should say. Like, the deck can fizzle if you're not doing it properly. Especially with the new configurations with the Children of Corliss in it.
Yeah, with that 10 fins combo like baked into it. So I have a feeling that Ninjas is going to have a hard time in this game one, just with how fast 10 fins can be.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think that is completely fine. Like, Ninjas has a lot of answers, and it has definitely the card advantage to keep up. And like, this is actually a pretty good start. Yeah. Starting off with the Changeling Outcast. But that being said, though, if Reanimator has a chance to go off or they can disrupt the counter magic, I think Ninja's going to have an extremely difficult time with this. So we're going to see an unmask right away. Ooh, exiling Tendrils. Interesting.
So that's a 1-of in the deck.
Ooh, main deck Narset. Gross.
Yeah, so I know that I stole my list from the list that I've been playing from the Eternally Surprised before he joined our Discord. And I know that the main deck and sideboard Narsets are a meta response to the amount of Snowco going around.
Yeah, I could see that. Astrolabe's a lot worse of a card when it doesn't replace itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get Kaiser going, oh, baby.
It looks like we're going to see Kaiser take Yuriko. Yes.
Yeah, Yuriko. I think Yuriko's probably the correct play there, just because that Yuriko gives you something to do with this Changeling Outcast, and it could be pretty rough. So it looks like we're going to pass turn back and actually stop on upkeep. And then we're fetching on upkeep. Interesting. And what are we casting here? Casting an Entomb. So we're going to force here, pitching the Narset, which I agree with that. So we still have another force in hand.
Force Vista in hand, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense that Kaiser was saying, do you want a second force if you draw into a blue card, or do you want Narset and try and dig for some answers?
I actually do like doing that in upkeep a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because that it, not only that, but if they wanted to pay for anything as well, then it makes them pay for it during their turn.
Yeah. And
so it looks like we're just going to crunch for one and pass back. Yeah. So it looks like it was just crunch for one and pass back, and then looks like we're just going to untap and pass back again. Interesting. And of note as well here, I believe that Tendrils is the only copy in the main deck, so the Stormkill is off now.
1-of in the deck.
Yeah, Dan TCG. Yeah. Kaiser doing the graveyard players proud. Yeah, I agree. And good evening as well, Rooked with Eladin. Oh, there we go. Faithless Looting right off the top. So that's actually one of the things that's a bit different in terms of playing Magic or playing Paper Magic versus Magic Online is interactions like that. You know that they just played the thing they drew for the turn, which is just one thing to keep in mind. But at the same time, I totally don't blame Kaiser for doing that, because you would have done something if you had any action in your hand by this point. That Day's getting cashed in for value as well, which is kind of rough this many turns in. So eternally surprised, kind of lucky that he was actually able to convert that Days for something.
So eternally surprised, brainstorming here. He's got to be looking for a ninja and another land.
Yeah,
because you want to be able to get that ninjutsu going, and then also get the changeling outcast back down on the same turn.
Yeah. Looks like we didn't hit another land, though. Reanimate. Oh, is this going to be a reanimate on the Yuriko? Interesting. Days number 2 getting converted as well. Oh my gosh.
I believe that should be... Oh, no. Eternally Surprised has increased the days count to 3.
Yeah.
Which... I know that there is some argument to be had.
Ooh, here we go. We have a clock now.
Yeah, that 1/1 becomes a 4/4.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So Changeling Outcast is actually an insanely good card in this Retrofitter Foundry build, because it counts as a ninja, it counts as a Thopter, it counts as a servo, and it counts as a construct, although the construct is very seldom relevant. So here we see the Dark Ritual. And it looks like it resolved, and we have 3 mana in pool now. So I'm thinking, unless we're still in the tank on it. No, it looks like we got 3 down to 2. Animate dead here. What would you grab here? Because I don't recall seeing a creature in the graveyard. No, we are reanimating Yuriko here. This is rough. This is really rough if you're in Kaiser's spot.
Yeah.
Like, and this is also bad too, because this Yuriko is an 0-3 right now, which is really bad. Yuriko's a 1-3, I believe, by default, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
And does have to deal combat damage in order to get the trigger. So.
And also not only that, but Eternally Surprised, they're just upgrading the unblockable 1/1 into a 4/4. So, which is very strong here.
Yeah, Cathor, having an 0-3 is bad unless it has the subtype crab.
Good point, yes. So we're going to see a main phase Ponder here. Oh, thank you, Beyond Sadistic there, our streamer for tonight, helping us out with the Yuriko there. And also thank you to one of our new mods, Oliver V, for table spotting today. So it looks like we pondered, I'm assuming kept the card, drew, and then fetched up a basic island here. Man, this is a really rough spot for Kaiser here.
Yeah, and I don't see it getting much better. Because I don't think that Yuriko ever does anything better than chump this construct.
Yeah. Yeah, crunching for 4 down to 10. And then just pass the turn back. Kaiser drawing a card here. Oof, yeah, this is a really rough start. And again, this is kind of one of the things about playing combo, right?
Kaiser also needs to keep his life total above 8.
Yeah.
8 or above in order for him to be able to do anything this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Kaiser probably chose not to block last round because he didn't realize that Yuriko was a 1-3.
Yeah.
then another Changeling Outcast, which represents 8 damage next turn.
Yeah. My brain just turned off there for a little bit when I was like, why is the Yuriko in Eternally Surprised Graveyard now? They don't legend rule each other out now. So what's happening here? And then just, yeah, blocked. Oh, okay. So we're going to see a second Unmask here pitching Dark Ritual. So the question is this Unmask targeting self? No, targeting Eternally Surprised. Because that's one of the things about Unmask that's really cool is Unmask doesn't say reveal the hand, it just says look at the hand. So you can unmask yourself, pull the fatty out, and then it never reveals any information about what else you have in hand.
Force Pitch Brainstorm.
Yeah.
I think that's going to leave with 1. Yeah. Eternally Surprised.
One card in hand, yeah.
Card in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, Cathor, if I was in that spot, I don't know. I think I don't know if I'd worry too much, especially because that trying to keep the servo up, you have this Changeling Outcast now. That's going to just become a 4/4. Oh, interesting. So we actually baited out the counter magic here, it looks like. So we got another Dark Rate here. Oh, Thought Seizing anyway. Oh, gosh. So this is going to put Kaiser down. Oh, Thought Seizing himself. Oh, man. Getting the Chancellor of the Annex, and then going to animate dead on it as well. Oh, goodness. That's cool. That's a super sweet interaction. I don't know if it's too late at this point, but it's still super cool. So this Chancellor is going to be a 4/6 now, I believe.
I mean, it blocks one of the constructs for 1 turn, or it blocks both of the constructs over 2 turns.
Yeah.
But
however, your lentil is very low.
I don't dislike Kaiser just kind of sitting back and seeing as much of the deck as possible, because it is an extremely fast deck, and games 2 and 3 can get won pretty quickly if you're Kaiser.
Yeah.
So just taking some time, looking, making sure to see as much of the deck as possible does not seem incorrect to me.
Oh my goodness, are we seeing the petty theft side of wow. Yeah, petty theft to bounce the Chancellor of the Annex and then just crunch for lethal. Wow. So Eternally Surprised taking game 1 there. So I guess we were both wrong in a sense.
Yeah.
But so that's interesting there. Sideboards, though. For Kaiser's side, we have 1 copy of Elesh Norn, 1 copy of Extirpate, 1 Grave Titan, 1 Iona, Shield of Emeria, 1 Magus of the Moon, 2 Massacre, 2 Reverent Silence, which is spicy, 2 Veil of Summer, and then 4 copies of Wear and Tear.
So I don't know. I do like Wear and Tear just for the Foundries.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Elesh Norn's a great in this matchup. But maybe that might be it. I don't know. Do you feel like anything else needs to come in?
No, the thing about Iona is that technically speaking, with ninjutsu, you're not actually like casting the card, you're just putting it into play, so Iona doesn't stop the ninjutsu. Massacre, you'd have to pay full retail for. Ninjas is a deck that operates very well on tons of basics. Like, you basically don't even need dual lands for it. So Magus, I think, is out. Veil of Summer might be a thing, but at the same time, I don't know how high on that card I am right now. I definitely think Wear and Tear would definitely be good against the Retrofitter Foundries, and Elesh Norn is just absolutely lights out for this deck.
Yeah, so I think, being careful to not overboard is obviously part of the game. So
yeah.
So for ninjas, for the Eternally Surprised, we've got an Engineered Explosives, a Flusterstorm, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Pithing Needle, a Surgical Extraction, 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Back to Basics, a Narset, 2 Plague Engineers, and a Massacre.
I really like Actually, I guess it's a little slow, but back to basics isn't bad. Obviously, the surgical, the graph diggers cages will be coming in. I actually also like the Fluster Storm here because you did see Tendrils game 1.
Yeah.
Plus, you can also just convert it randomly whenever they're trying to unmask or Dark Ritual you as well.
I'm not super high on the back to basics, but I do think that it's a potential or a potentially good option. But where you can't get it out on turn 1 or turn 2, it doesn't feel as impactful in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. Thoughtseize could also be a thing you might want, just because that you could take the reanimation spell, and then they're just kind of stranded.
In for game 2 on the play or on the draw.
Yeah, on the draw, I think that might be a bit slow. On the play, definitely, I think that's probably a good one for sure. But yeah, I think Flusterstorm, Graph Digger's Cage, of course, and Surgical are probably good for game 2, and then I'd probably bump up the Thoughtseizes as well for game 3 if it gets there.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
It does look like Kaiser's going down to 6. The Eternally Surprised is keeping his 7. Kaiser wants it to be clear that he conceded.
Yeah, the attack was not made. I did not die to my opponent. I made sure that I went out on my own terms. So Kaiser on the mulligan, though. So that's actually kind of rough in a sense.
I think that this deck mulligans relatively fine to even down to 5.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I'm not gonna lie, like the more I see this Children of Corliss version of Reanimator, the deck seems extremely powerful, but at the same time, I don't really know how I feel about it as well, because that, to me, I just find that the more options you bring in, the more you're diluting your deck. Right? And I don't know, I'm one of those types of people that whenever I brew, like especially in Commander, I'm like, oh, let's try and see if I can fit 20 combos in here. And they're all bad because I didn't pick 2 and stick with them. And then I play them, turns out it's too good and I win too much, and then I disassemble it because it's no longer fun.
I think that the Reanimator / Tin Fins deck is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, like the changes required are very, very minimal, and I think it works extremely well. I don't know if maybe it's just me being reluctant because I'm a weirdo type thing and stuff like that. I don't know. I completely think that me not liking Children of Corliss and Reanimator is entirely me and not any rational explanation as to why it's bad.
When you start going down the Ice Station Zebra,
yes,
that's when it starts to, for me, gets to be a little bit too much.
Yeah,
you're playing not very many lands in a deck that has lands that don't produce mana.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So we actually went and discarded Grizzlebrand to the Faithless Looting and then immediately fired off a Surgical on it. Wow. That's rough. Because Grizzlebrand's like, and not only that, but Grizzlebrand. Okay, so we do see the Grave Titan, which I like that. But without Grizzlebrand, you basically can't get the Tendrils kill anymore. Or if you do, it's extremely difficult.
It's also looking like the Elish Norn came in.
Veil of Summers. I imagine we were both in agreement that Elish Norn was 100% coming in.
Yeah.
Just because that it makes it so all of your changelings / Thopters die as soon as they hit the battlefield, so you can't upgrade them to constructs, and it also makes all the ninjas have 0 power. Interesting. So he actually went down to just 2 Grizzlebrands.
He was on the play. I don't mind that. Did you see how many Chancellors were still in the deck?
I wasn't paying attention to that, but I would imagine there would be potentially. I would imagine there would be 4, but
I wasn't sure if he sided out of any of them. But being on the play, I imagine that he left all 4 of those in.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I do think taking those out on the draw is a viable sideboarding. So maybe leaving in the 4 Chancellors and siding out 2 of the Grizzlebrands.
Yeah. So yeah, we did see the Veils come in as well, which is, I think, fine. Also, like my big concern about Veil was getting the green mana, and of course you have this Bayou right in hand. Interesting. So you actually take the Thoughtseize there, and I think actually that's probably correct here, just because it hides information, and it also keeps kind of your stuff up to snuff. Plus, if you do draw a fatty, then you can't Thoughtseize yourself in order to animate dead it.
Yeah. So looks like the Eternally Surprised kept a reactive or a mostly reactive hand.
Yeah.
Which I don't disagree with, being on the draw and being against this deck.
Yeah.
You're going to want as much interaction as possible.
I 100% agree. Like, especially in that case, because you probably take your opening hand, see the Surgical, and you're just like, you're on the play? Okay, sounds good. Please don't reveal a Chancellor, and we're fine. So we're going to get 3. We're going to flashback a Faithless Looting here. I actually like how you can see Kaiser's camera setup as well. Those 4 wooden legs that you can see around the screen there. There's a gigantic table above him that probably his phone is sitting on, and that's what he's using as his camera.
We did see Pitch Elshore, which is going to be big.
Big if this Animate Dead resolves, oh goodness. So Eternally Surprised needs to come up with an answer for it, because that's going to be a very slow, painful 3 damage a turn. Oh, that's not good. Unless that finds a counterspell. Which I guess technically there could have been a counterspell in hand the first time too, but yeah, that's kind of the issue. And I think if you're in Kaiser's spot, you kind of have to jam it here. It almost looks like he's wondering about what to play. Okay, so we're going with an Exhume here. So the Exhume actually would make for a much shorter clock. Or not much shorter, but actually no, because oh no, it's surprised at 14? Oh, okay. No, yeah, it would shorten up the clock by at least a turn.
Oh yeah, Surgical plus Thoughtseize plus fetch.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to counter this Exhume, because if this Hellish Norn resolves, oh my goodness, a Cling to Dust.
That's backbreaking.
That's so bad. Oh, if you're in Kaiser's spot, you're probably just so miffed about this. Exile that, and I'll draw a card. Sounds reasonable. Or is it gain 3 life?
When you exile a creature, it's gain 3 life.
Wow, that's so broken. Like, not broken as in bad, but just that's so bad for Kaiser. Because now Kaiser has the Grave Titan and any number of Chancellors, and that's all. Although I suppose if Kaiser wanted to beat down with a Children of Corliss, he could. But we're actually going to see attack with the Baleful Strix and Ninjutsu in a Ingenious Infiltrator.
Yeah.
And then hitting land, I guess, off the other draw there, but not redeploying the Baleful Strix. Huh. So that tells me that there's more interaction in hand, which is super bad if I'm in Kaiser's spot.
Maybe keeping up either Hardcast Days or Hardcast Eliminate. I'd
almost wonder if Flusterstorm's in hand. Because hardcasting Days with 3 lands up, I think would be a little bit rough, because all the reanimation targets all the reanimation spells are either 1 or 2 mana.
Right.
Same thing, a lot of your enablers like Entomb and Faithless Looting are 1 mana as well. I think Daze is probably past the point of being able to be converted it right now. So I think leaving the mana up for that is probably rough. Yeah, Doc, that Cling to Dust was brutal.
It is a card that I do not own enough copies of, unfortunately. I think I only have 2 playsets of Cling to Dust.
I only probably have 1 or 2 copies, period. But that being said, the card is fantastic. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, let's just kick you while you're down, eh? This is rough. So if I'm in Kaiser's spot, I'm almost just kind of wondering how much. And 6 cards in Eternally Surprised hands, too. That's brutal. So we're going to see an end-step Brainstorm here.
Well, and Eternally Surprised is drawing two cards a turn now, so
yeah. Man, this game has just been, or this whole match has just been super rough if you're in Kaiser's spot. Yeah, and can indeed be copied off of Seagate Stormcaller there, Doc. You are not wrong. So we're up to 5 lands now. So we're in hardcast forest territory now, too, which is really bad for Kaiser.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much longer you I mean, I suppose 4 or 5 turns.
Yeah.
Getting hit for 3 a turn.
If that. Well, potentially, because if this Baleful Strike turns into a Yuriko this turn, it could just be like 1 or 2 turns and it's it.
Yeah.
Attack for 3.
Brainstorm, stick to Force of Wills on top, hit him for 10.
Yeah, basically. So we're just gonna crunch for 3, draw a card off the Ingenious Infiltrator, and Surprise still has a ton of cards in hand. How did that work? How did Kaiser take life loss already?
So
unless they just did it out of order.
Creature after there's like a time between damage and, you know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Oliver, just Table Spotter, just confirming there. Ninjas and Yuriko after damage. Yeah. Okay.
Which I'm curious about that line. I'm not quite sure what the
Unless you want to replay the Baleful Strix this turn. Which, not doing that makes me kind of confused as to what the thought process there is, but I'm sure we'll find out afterwards. Or if anyone else familiar with ninjas might know what that line could be. You can see Kaiser kind of holding the hand up of what do I do?
Maybe wants to maintain some amount of secrecy for another turn.
Could be.
But I'd rather just flip a couple of things and get a couple extra damage in.
Yeah, so we're up to 6 mana now, and this attack is going to be incredibly dangerous. So for reference, when you stack these triggers, you want to put the Yurikos on the stack first, then put the Ingenious Infiltrators on the stack, which will allow you to potentially draw into a Brainstorm to go put something really bad on top of your library. Because as you said, if you have double force there, you can just hit them for an additional 10. On that, but you're functionally drawing 4 cards here, which is just disgusting. And getting an Ingenious Infiltrator or Changeling Outcast down, followed by an Ornithopter here. So we're getting all the ninjutsu targets in.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about ninjas. You have a lot of really cheap creatures. So all of that draw most of the time does not go to waste.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheap creatures, cheap spells, or you can do what the Eternally Surprised is doing right now and potentially leaving up Force of Will hardcast.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting a Narset here. So the thing Narset does is Narset actually turns off Faithless Looting. Which is really gross.
Choosing not
to activate, which in this particular scenario, I actually like that, just in case there's a lightning bolt or something like that. I actually kind of like not activating Narset just to keep her at 5 loyalty. Just because you're in such command of this game, there's nothing you need. There's absolutely nothing you would need to down tick the Narset for, like, because you're just in such a commanding position right now. And especially because there's no way to tick Narset back up, I kind of like that as well. So discarding Yuriko at cleanup step, and then drawing for turn, plays out a swamp. We might be a couple rituals. Oh, hello. We're getting a Chrome Mox exiling Animate Dead. And then paying 6. Oh, here's a Grave Titan. Ooh, hard cast Grave Titan. Let's go.
Oh, no. And that's
just a daze. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's so brutal.
Yeah, that hurts.
That hurts so bad. Oh my goodness. Ow. That hurts me on my insides. So we're going to see a shuffle off this Ponder. Which I'm fine with, because if you don't find exactly what you need here, like, you got so much friggin' gas and options available.
I feel like unless you're finding exactly triple land or land ornithopter or some amount of that, you got to leave it, right? Because otherwise, if you find a 1-drop, you've got lethal on board.
Yeah. So we are actually going to down tick the Narset here and grab a second copy of Grafdigger's Cage. Ouch. And not like this indeed. Man, this is a savage beating. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, the Eternally Surprised came out strong and took a very controlling lead early.
Yes, very much so.
This matchup, you have to.
Yeah.
Or it's going to get away from you on, as early as turn 2.
Yeah. So here we go. Crunching in for 6.
For 4.
Yeah, for 4, sorry. Drawing 6 cards. Functionally 6 cards.
Yeah. And hitting...
It looks like where he's actually putting the Yurikos first.
Well, it makes sense because he pondered. And
gotcha. Yes.
A 1-drop to the top.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So that's going to be 2-0 for the Eternally Surprised.
Yeah, very, very well played, very controlling games as well against Reanimator there. Just an absolutely savage beating. So thanks so much for coming out, though.
Very experienced Ninjas pilot. So
yes. Also of note, if I'm correct, both these players are also from Europe. It is very late in the morning for them, or very late in the night. So thank you very much, both of you guys, for coming out and playing today. And yeah, we will be back here shortly with round 2, so we will see you then.